Hey everyone, Alan Walker here. Today I want to spend some time talking about the investor mindset. I'm going to have a series of videos where I'm going through questions that I ask myself when I'm making investment decisions. And these are questions that I can ask myself really in any area of my life. But today we are experiencing a lot of uncertainty. Interest rates are going up, crypto's going down, the stock market's all over the place. So it's important that we guard our mindset around what we actually are trying to do, right? Because we can chase more all day long, but that doesn't necessarily get us closer to what we want. So I want to talk a little bit about how do you determine what you want and how do you get there and how do you judge your investments based on that criteria. And here's what I mean by that. So let's say you want to make $10 million in 10 years, right? Awesome goal. So if you want to make $10 million in 10 years, and let's say you're starting with $100,000. So I'm starting with $100,000. I need to be at 10 million in 10 years. What's the ROI compounded over those years that I need to get on my investments in order to actually get to 10 million, right? So then once you know that, you can start to judge all of your investment opportunities against that, right? So you can say, hey, there's always an opportunity. There's always going to be somebody that's like, hey, triple your money overnight, buy a yacht and have bikini babes. Everyone knows I love bikini babes. So there's always going to be someone that's coming and saying something like that. Our job is, and it's our job because we're the investors, right? Nobody's telling us exactly what to do. We have to figure out for ourselves, like, what is the right path for me? And so if you have that ROI that you're trying to hit, you can start to make some decisions around, well, if I get 7%, I'm just making up numbers because I'm sure some math guy is or girl is or woman is going to like come back and tell me that 7% is impossible. But let's just say I have to make 7% compounded over 10 years to get my $10 million, right? So if I know that and I've got an opportunity to make 7 to 10%, or I've got an opportunity to make 50 to 70%, what do we know about risk and return, right? The higher the risk, the higher the return, right? And vice versa. The higher the return, the higher the risk. And so if you're presented with those two opportunities, I'm not telling you whether or not you should take either one, right? That's 100% up to you. But if you have a barometer of like, this is the return I need to get to safely and certainly be on that path to getting my $10 million, then why are you risking so much money to get the 70 to 100% if you could get something that's lower risk, more reliable, and is getting you, say, 10%? You know you're going to hit your goal, right? Without that, you're always chasing the next shiny thing. You're always chasing like what can get me the maximum amount of return I get. There's nothing wrong with that. Like upside plays have a place in anyone's portfolio. But if you don't understand where you're going and you don't understand what your baseline ROI is, then you're always going to be chasing that bigger thing. I know that for myself, right? Like I've fallen into that trap time and time again. You know, I get like FOMO and I'm worried that like someone else is getting a better return than me and I'm chasing it. But here's the thing, once I actually determined what I needed to get in order to reach my goal, then that FOMO got less and less. I'm not saying it went away because everyone has FOMO, right? Like you're watching this on Facebook. Facebook is like the king and queen of FOMO. So, but what is important is once you know it, you can start to identify it. And you can start to say, hey, like I am not going to invest a ton of money in that because it is so high risk, but I'm willing to take a little bit of money and put it in that and see what happens, right? I'm on track with my ROI and the percentages that I need to return to get to my goal. So now I can take a little bit and put it into an upside play. Because here's the thing, like it's asymmetry to the upside, right? You're not taking a ton of money per se, right? You're not taking a ton and you're putting it in there. So your risk of not making your overall goal is low because you're not taking a ton out of your main amount of money. But it has the opportunity of going up. And so if it goes up, if something has astronomical opportunity, you don't need to invest a lot of money, right? That's the whole point. Like, you can take a little bit of money and make a lot of money. What I think a lot of people do, and I've fallen into this myself with multiple things, is that you say, oh, there's all this opportunity, I'm going to put all my money into it, and then the opportunity falls flat. So just keep in mind what you're solving for. That's really the first thing that I wanted to kind of talk about when it comes to investor mindset. And in future videos, I'm going to talk a little bit more about some other things that I do. I think now more than ever, it is important that we understand our own mindsets as investors, right? Because things are going to get uncertain. Things are always uncertain. We've been riding this high for the last few years, and a lot of people have made a lot of money. So it's important to understand, okay, that was that market. Now, what do we need to solve for now so that we can make sure we keep that wealth going forward? Hey, if you have questions on that, real estate, crypto, anything like that, please reach out. I'm always happy to chat. Hope you have a good day.